I did not write this comment. That's me, but this isn't. Quick warning, this video is a divergence from the channel's normal content. It's not about D&D, it's not about world building, it's hardly even about writing. If that's what you're after, don't worry, the Capital Cities Worldbuilding video will be up in about a week. This video is about YouTube Creator Studio and its AI-generated comments, a new experimental feature it started rolling out in the middle of October. The Creator Studio is a side of the website most people don't see, or at least aren't that familiar with. It's got a bunch of cool features like general channel analytics, as well as more specific data for each individual video. Here I can see how many times people saw my thumbnail, how many of those people clicked on the video, and much more. The more I use it, the more features I find that the average viewer probably doesn't know about. One such function is located in the Community tab, which until very recently was just called Comments. This tab functions essentially like an email inbox for all of the comments on your videos, presenting them in a nice, space-efficient window. I don't have the chance to answer all of the comments on my videos, but this tab certainly helps in that regard. Up here at the top of the screen, I have access to some filters, the most curious of which is called subscriber count. I can very easily only look at comments sent by accounts that have a minimum amount of subscribers. At first glance, this looks like an "I only care about you if you have enough clout" button, but it does have a slightly more ethical use case. Since YouTube lacks a direct messaging function, which is probably a good thing, this is the only way for creators to easily communicate with each other on the platform. Though many will have another way to communicate with them, like Twitter DMs or a business email attached to their account. Yeah, I know I need to get on that. But this video is not about the so-called clout filter. This video is about these funny little boxes. A week or so ago, at the time of writing, they started showing up in my comment inbox for the first time. I, like many of you, immediately recognized them because I have a similar function on my phone. AI-generated responses to comments. I've never had a problem with this function on my phone, a Google Pixel 8a, because the responses it generates are very simple. If I get a message that says, "I'm running late," it will suggest something like, "No problem." Or to "We got a table by the bar," it might generate, "Be there soon." Some of the responses suggested by YouTube are along these lines, but others... Let's take a look at this comment. "I just don't know how plate tectonics make a story more interesting. Maybe I'm just not that interested in plate tectonics IRL, so I don't gravitate towards stories that focus on it. But I can't even really imagine how I would write an interesting story that revolves around plates in the earth shifting. I can suspend my disbelief when a story doesn't follow real-world physics, but is still enjoyable. Realistic does not equal good writing for me. Realistic fantasy seems like a waste to me." Whether you agree with this person or not, this is an insightful comment. It is a thoughtful construction of an opinion and is qualified as such. Now let's look at the generated responses. I think that some of my viewers would disagree with that assessment, but I'm definitely not saying everyone should be running around with geological maps of their settings. This one is pretty poorly done and I don't have much else to say about it. But this one, "I agree that realistic fantasy is not always good fantasy, but sometimes it can help with world building, even if it never makes it to the final product." This is the comment that got me curious, as well as a bit uncomfortable. This suggestion is complex, and the comment it's answering is complex as well, including a concession, a concluding opinion, as well as a resultant assertion. It isn't presented as a question, but even if it were, there would be no right answer. Any response to this comment is probably going to include an opinion itself. And that's the problem. Let's take a look at some responses I've given to similar comments. "The mistake people make is that they build worlds when what they should be building is context." To which I responded, "In respect to what the audience and players see, I agree, but fleshing out parts of a setting which they will never see can lead to inspiration for parts they will. In this respect, the world building process can be as important to the writer as it is to the audience." Or this one, The quip I heard and stuck with me is, "You're not building a world, you're designing a game board," in the RPG context. To which I said, "Great point. It's important to present the game to your players as exactly that, a game. Spending time on the deeper aspects of your world, which your players or audience may never see, can still be worthwhile. Sometimes the deep background, bottom-up stuff is what gets me really excited about prepping and gives me ideas for the gameplay experience." Now back to the AI comment. I agree that realistic fantasy is not always good fantasy, but sometimes it can help with world building even if it never makes it to the final product. That sounds familiar. The comment isn't perfect, but it's not that far off from what a comment written by me would say. Honestly, if I were to grade its accuracy, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Not only is this comment too close to my opinion, as well as how I would express that opinion, it is espousing a line of thought that is pretty uncommon. How was it able to get as close to my voice as it did? I am sure that YouTube did not just plug this into a general language model. As I said, there is no correct response to this comment, and my opinion on this matter is certainly not ubiquitous. You can scroll through the comments of that same video and find plenty of dissenting views. I'm pretty sure a general use language model would not spit out an opinion so close to my own. I'm actually positive that wouldn't happen because I copied and pasted this same comment into ChatGPT, which, surprise, surprise, did not even mention fostering your own writing environment in its rather lengthy response. It spoke about how settings should be used to support the narrative, tie into the plot, or be used to raise the stakes. Standard stuff that is assuredly mentioned in thousands of online articles about settings' role in writing. Note that I did use the mini version of ChatGPT, so maybe the Charizard to this model's Charmander would have spit out something a little different. So how did it get so close? Well, there's an obvious answer, of course, but I want to have all the information available to me before I go casting aspersions. So I clicked on this little ellipses icon and got to reading. To make it easier for creators to engage with their viewers via comments, we're experimenting with updated AI-enhanced comment reply suggestions that give creators editable suggestions in their own tone and style. Okay, well that answers that. Let's keep reading. Editable AI-enhanced reply suggestions, reflective of your unique style and tone, give you a helpful starting point that you can easily customize to craft your reply to comments. So yeah, it was trained off of me. It is using things I have said in my videos or have typed in my comment section to mimic me. And to be completely honest, I don't like that very much. This is a very well-trodden topic by the boots of people much smarter and more informed than I am. But it should be unsurprising that a writer is unhappy that the things they have written are being used to train an artificial intelligence without their permission. My main issue is I never opted in. Maybe it's included in the terms and conditions you sign when you make your YouTube account, but I think it's widely accepted that the ethics of burying a very consequential condition in a Byzantine document are murky at best. I am going to leave the legality of the matter to the experts. But say all this is completely, totally legal, that doesn't make it ethical. As a thought experiment, let's imagine a human did something similar. They scraped through all of my comments and my videos, collated all of my opinions, and then spat them back out somewhere else on the internet, devoid of any transformation or synthesis. People do this. Not necessarily to me, but people do it. I am sure many of you have had the displeasure of clicking on an article only to find that it is 4 lines of low-effort, vacuous text along with a quote from a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever. This is sometimes referred to as aggregate media, which is technically not breaking any rules, but not necessarily ethical. Okay, I hear you again. Someone aggregating someone else's content is not the same as a tool which is meant to help me, and which only ever publishes anything if I push a button, which presents a philosophical question. At what point of the process does the ethical infraction take place? When a tool like this is trained off of your work, or when it is used to mimic it? I might have an opinion about that, but as it turns out, it doesn't really matter. The tool already exists. I wasn't asked, and I wasn't given a chance to say no. But enough about me. What about you, the viewers? Another concerning aspect of this new feature is the ambiguity between what was written by a human and what wasn't. There is no written on my iPhone style qualifier at the end of this message. And I think they get around this by making the comment editable. But in my opinion, even edited comments should still have some sort of designation that says this was written with or assisted by AI. In your opinion, should it be possible for me to post this reply, which I wrote 0% of, and the original commenter be none the wiser? In another thought experiment, what if, when you wanted to comment on a YouTube video, you were presented with two options? One comment section in which I wrote every message myself, and another which contained an indistinguishable mix of me and Russell DM Bot. Which would you post your comment in? Finally, this is not a video set out to condemn any creator who uses this function. Honestly, if YouTube implemented an opt-in step before the model was trained, as well as some way to differentiate between human-written and AI-generated responses, I think it would be fine. I wouldn't use it personally, but I understand that a lot of YouTubers are not writers. I imagine many of them, like many people in general, have some amount of trouble turning their thoughts into text. And for them, a tool like this could be a great help, as long as it is opt-in and unambiguous to the reader. I mean, how hard would it be to slap a little DeepMind icon on the corner of the comment? That's it, guys. I just wanted to talk about this for a little while because in speaking to a few of my friends, none of them had heard of this feature. And if it weren't for my ability to use it, I wouldn't know about it either. If there was any sort of publicity around it, it missed me and every person I asked. So what do you think? Should this feature be opt-in for the creator? Should the comments it generates have a watermark that tells the reader that it was written with the help of AI? Does it matter to you if a creator's reply to your comment wasn't written by them? Or am I overreacting? Let me know down below and I'll give a thoughtful response to every comment I can. Or will I? Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to support me, you can do all the normal stuff down here at the bottom, or head over to the Patreon, where you can see the videos early for $1, or get your name into the credits for $5. Big thank you to our first World Builder tier patron, Jack. The Capital Cities Worldbuilding video will be out in about a week. See ya.